All right, guys, so what we're going to be going over today is density practice problem worksheet. And what I really want you guys to remember is that I'm going to give you that density is equal to mass divided by volume. But I will not give you how to solve for mass or volume, so you need to be aware of how to rearrange this equation. An easy way to do this is by drawing that triangle. We know that density equals mass over volume. And anything that's on top is dividing by the bottom, and whatever's on bottom is being multiplied. So this would mean that density is equal to mass divided by volume. Volume would equal mass divided by density, and mass is equal to density times volume. So we have a block of aluminum, and it occupies a volume of 15 milliliters. So we know that V is equal to 15 milliliters. We also know that it weighs 40.5 grams, or has a mass of 40.5 grams. What is its density? So we don't know what D is. We already know that density is equal to mass divided by volume. So all we need to do is plug these in. The mass is 40.5 grams. The volume is 15 milliliters. When we divide 40.5 divided by 15, you get 2.79. And remember, when we're talking about the density, it's mass over volume. So what's the mass? Grams over milliliters, because these aren't going to be able to cancel out. All right, the next problem says mercury metal is poured into a graduated cylinder that holds exactly 22.5 milliliters. So we know that the volume is 22.5 milliliters. The mercury used to fill the cylinder weighs 306 grams. So the mass is 306 grams. What is the density of mercury? Well, again, density is equal to mass divided by volume. So what we're going to do is we are going to take 306 grams over 22.5 milliliter. When you type that into your calculator, 306 divided by 22.5, you're going to get 13.6, and the units are going to be grams per milliliter, or grams over milliliter. Grams per milliliter. All right, for the third one, we are going to be solving for mass instead. So what is the weight, or what is the mass? So we know we're looking for the mass of an alcohol that fills exactly 200 milliliters. So that's the volume, 200 milliliters. And we know that the density of this ethyl alcohol is 0.7899 grams per milliliter. So when we're looking for mass, you would cover up mass. Mass is equal to density times volume. So mass is equal to density times volume. All you need to do from here is we've got density, which is 0.789 grams per milliliter. And then you have the volume, which is 200 milliliter. First thing you're going to do is multiply 0.789 times 200, and you will get 157.8. Now look at what would cancel out. We're looking for the mass. So first of all, which one would make sense? Would it be grams? Would it be milliliters? Well, it wouldn't be milliliters, but you can also double check this by canceling out the milliliters, and you are left with grams. So it would be 157.8 grams. All right, number 4 looks like a lot, but you are going to be able to find both these variables pretty easily. So a rectangular block of copper metal weighs 1,896 grams. So we know that the mass is 1,896 grams. The dimensions of the block are 8.4 centimeters by 5.5 centimeters by 4.6 centimeters. From this data, what is the density of copper? So they didn't really give us the volume right away. And they definitely didn't give us the density. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to find volume. And we're going to just do that by multiplying these three things together. So volume would equal to 8.4 centimeters by 5.5 centimeters by 4.6 centimeters. And we would be given, when we multiply these three numbers together, 212.52 centimeters. Now, it's not just centimeters. We have three of them, so it would be centimeters cubed. This is going to be a little bit different than milliliters now. Remember that when we solve for density overall. Now that we know that the volume is 212.52 centimeters cubed, we just need to solve for density. So our second step would be solve for density. We already know that density is equal to mass over volume. So all we have to do is take this mass, 1,896 grams, and divide it by our volume, which is 212.52 centimeters cubed. Now, the first thing, even before we look at those units, is we just need to divide these two numbers by one another. And what we're going to be left with is 8.92. Remember, density equals mass divided by volume. We cannot cancel these out, so all we have to do is put grams per centimeter cubed. Grams per centimeter cubed. All right, go ahead and flip it to the back. I'm going to do one more of these for you, and then you are more than welcome to look at the key or come in for help. Let's go ahead and solve for, we're going to do number 7. Find the mass, so we're looking for M, of 250 milliliters of benzene. So we know the volume is 250 milliliters. The density of benzene is 0.8765 grams per milliliter. And we're looking for the mass. Mass is equal to density times volume. So all we have to do is 0.8765 grams per milliliter times 250 milliliter. When you type those two numbers into your calculator, multiply them by one another, you will be given 219.12. The milliliters will cancel out and you'll be left with grams.